Good evening, guys. This is Ken at Tortoise Capital with a nightly strategy podcast for March 24th, 2020. Market came roaring back today on hopes of the Fed pump. So I just want to highlight this from yesterday's discussions. We talked about, I call them the Council of Elders, and we were looking at the signals in volatility, and the question was, is this a green shoots for the spring? And I said, well, it's a 4 sigma risk Z that has now started to roll up into the spring, so that's an indicator. The ADX 14 at 50 is almost impossible to sustain that, but these are extraordinary times. All of the the NDXs were deeply oversold, bearish, volatile. So we know that leads to much more volatility. And so when I put those little summaries together, I put this in that video that was released earlier. This was the VIX. It had gotten, VXX had gotten smashed the last 4 days and then got smashed yesterday. And last night I talked about it going through the PSAR. It did that, and it was a massive good trade to the upside on the inverse. So yeah, yesterday the market was still off 2.5%, but it had made like a 6% intraday rally, and then opened limit up. And the risk Z had turned the corner after an adverse 4 sigma on a day the Fed promised unlimited money. And so that's like an implied call option for every sovereign wealth fund in the world. And I don't know how you fight that long term. At the same time, identified that 4 seasons of MACD, that MACD line is rolling over at an extreme upside reading. So we went into the day. I had highlighted XLB yesterday in the material sector. So there was a big gap up, drew the support line at the opening and the initial VWAP, did an extreme move, extreme reversal, RLXT enter when it crosses the VWAP, found support at the VWAP and the southern skin of the dragon, bought the breakout above the hump of the 10, bought the next breakout when it cleared the crest of this RL10, took the RLXD and PSAR flip exit, watched it get into sideways quiet channel with decreasing volatility, so you can feel it compressing. You see the Z3 lines compress. And now the RL270 joins, and now the RL90 joins. So now we have a super pinch, and this thing ends up taking off for another nice run intraday. Here's the VXX trade. So this gap down sharply. There was an intraday recovery move, right? So we had a low, another low, so I just draw the minimum manageable risk box between the hump and the belly by the breakout. So this is essentially a hybrid frog entry off that bottom. I've noticed the Z3 line there. By the second position on a breakout above the breakout of this Z3. I then notice that's the previous Z3 excursion to the upside. It finds support at the rising Bollinger Band mean. Here's the next hump of the RL10. Make that entry, which is a front run of this Z3 excursion. So I'm just locking those gains in and adding positions when it keeps taking out these measured pulses. Pullbacks, RLXD, cash, gets into a sideways quiet channel, buy it, cash, and then it was setting up this next Z3. I want you to notice how the RL270 curls, turns here at the same time we're getting this nice move is what turned that gap down around. And then as it's getting ready to make this turn, that's where that RL270 now starts adding value You can see that the VWAP just kept rising and rising and rising as it went. The size of this risk management box is the same size as this risk management. This Z3 pinch is the same size as that Z3 pinch. So there's a certain psychology and physics associated with these minimum manageable risk box. Just want you to notice the extreme move down produced that enormous spring, which is what got you. And then when it comes back, it gets to the summer. That's what gets you into this. And now it's trying to close the gap. It never did, but there was a nice morning surge in here while the rest of the market was working. At that time, VXX was still down. Was it 15%? Oh no, about 11%. And then you can see all the material sector. Alcoa was up 25. U.S. Steel was up 10. Home Depot was up strong 11. So all of those, Buy America, Make America Great, and the rebuild kinds of things that I've been talking about these last couple of weeks all had big days today. So I wasn't going to get short any of those, right? Here's the UDOW. So big gap up. So it was a limit up move. Let's get our little... So from the belly of the 10 to the peak of the 10, I set that as the minimum manageable risk box. Get the entry. The second RLXD exit, I was still inclined to go with it, so I'm not offended if you took the exit here. Came down, found support at the VWAP, re-entry on the RLXD in the pocket. Second one, when it takes out this previous hump, cash the RLXD up here. I'm not offended if you take that exit. If you do, you got to retake that entry. So that's the exit. Now we had a fail, a lower high, and this is a collapsing dragon short. Take the measured gain. Tried long, scratched. Tried short, scratched. Tried long when it bottomed and gave me a RLXD. It worked. There's a higher low, a second higher low. Second entry when it crosses the RL270. Third entry going into towards the close, and then just take the exit as it starts to fail. So that worked pretty well. The daily moves. So here it was a big gap up and closed strongly. So it's up from 220 all the way to about 245-ish. So there's our 10, 20, 30, 40% sell-off, but now we're just at about 33%. It's well above Monday's open. We're still deep in the winter at a reading of about minus 46. But the upside is there. High of the day, far side of the dragon. The PSAR flip would be significant. A breakout of the 10-day high would be significant. There's the Bollinger Band mean at 293. Fair value at 315 and some change. 30-day high, and then a couple other indicators up top here. So perhaps a relief rally hasn't proven anything. Just that there was a day and a half of some gains, and there's a lot of profits already to be booked and protected. When I was looking at UDOW, this was on an hourly chart, and so that was that limit up, and then everything was all systems go. And the PSAR flip happened right in here at about 32. That thing ended up going all the way to 36 by the time the day was over. It got all the way up into here, which was above the height of the previous dragon. Big winners and losers for the day. UDOW was up 32%, Alcoa 28%. Virgin Galactic 25, Chevron, Boeing, Devon Energy, McDonald's, Wynn, Cliff, Home Depot, Brazil. The Dow was 2% better than the S&P, so that's guys buying the big fat rock solid companies. That's they've stared into the abyss and off they go. Yeah, so that's that one. Let's do a speed run. So this is all the swing trades. So Alcoa, XLB was really good this morning, and Alcoa was very good, so off I went. Got the swing trade at 619. I did a turbo on that one. I didn't show the chart, but it was the same as the XLB trade. But Alcoa was very good. I'm going to move my stop to here. Protecting all these gains from today. So in violent bear markets are when you get the biggest dead cat bounces. So that could very well be what we're seeing. So I'm just going to get paid when I can. I am definitely bird in the hand is worth two in the bush at this point. Okay. Apple, we covered the short yesterday, and then today was a big. Let's see if I can't move that out of the way. Was a big move up and closed well. So that's fund managers, I think, hoping. Aussie dollar. I got long on that one today, so it's made a turn, and I started that one today, so that's right at that .5936, and I'm looking for that thing to get up to the Bollinger Band mean and fair value up here at 0.65. Boeing, we took the long on that one yesterday. That paid off today. That thing is going well, so I'm going to lock in the gain. Caterpillar, the great American company, I said before, it got back above that diagonal line, so I felt good when it crossed above. We took the entry at like 100 and some change. Cliff, I missed. I'm trading that one intraday tomorrow, and I'm going to buy that one automatically if it gets through that rectangle. The futures are looking strong right now, but we'll see what that looks like in the morning. But I'm ready to play this one tomorrow. Okay. Cisco, I wanted to cover that. I said yesterday I wanted to cover that short yesterday. I didn't. So that turned out to be a scratch because of that decision. We got long cut today at 1865. If there's any kind of rebuild of America, you need wood, so I'm betting on that one. I like the turn in the RL10, so I'm trying to get postured on that one. That's not one you can trade intraday. There's not enough volume intraday, but swing trading is possible. Chevron, I took a second position on the swing we got yesterday from here. If you recall, we actually get that one back over here. We held on, and then today it rewarded, so I took a second position here, and I'm moving my stop up to the blue line. Let's see, Devon Energy, I took the entry long here. I wanted it yesterday, didn't believe in it enough, so today was a follow-through. So that closed well. Energy was actually not bad. Emerging markets, this was the end of a short down here, and then didn't play that one today, but I will play this trade. I'm bracketing today's price, and I'll play the breakout. I was short EFA, covered at the open, and got long at 50.43. It's a sympathy trade. Japan, been believing in them, and they rewarded today, so I put a second position on them. I'm going to leave that stop there. I'm going to try to play blind trust on them. That's just dumb. So I'm going to protect there at the edge of the dragon. Mexico, I'm trading it intraday only. This looks, boy, that looks really attractive to me. That nice tight stop right there. That's almost a washout pattern. In fact, it is. Darn near. So I'm willing to play it like this. The Mexican president said he was not going to bail out companies. Who's the capitalist now? Well done. So I'm going to play that trade, and I'm looking for, and all of these I'm looking to get through the dragon, through the PSAR flip, and back to the Bollinger Band mean. Brazil, I'm going to trade it intraday only. Home Depot, we're long 2 positions as of today. We got the second one in here at the open, and we're in great shape. So I'm going to move my stop up and lock them both in. Russell, just watching. I basically covered the short today when I had a chance. Real estate, I'm just stalking. Don't believe in it yet. McDonald's, we got long here, and I had my stop down here, and I'm moving that stop up to here, hoping. Took the long in the clean energy at the open, and I'm going to move my stop to here, and would like to see this thing get up to the Bollinger Band mean. Silver, along with gold, just got slaughtered. I missed this turning movement completely. I normally will play that with wheat and precious metals, but that was beyond my span of control. Wheaton had a nice move, and we'll see in a minute. Virgin Galactic, I put my third position in on that one. I'm liking it, and tomorrow will be a PSAR flip. Simon Property Group, I'm still short. I don't believe that they're going to turn that around. That's one that's driven by tactical earnings and actually receiving rents, and I still see them suffering. I don't see them being helped in the short term, and there's no constituency for them. So I'm still short. My stop is still up here at the top of that box, and I think that's going lower down to here. This is where I'll add a second position if it breaks below that blue line. Still short. The S&P we've seen. Treasuries were long one. I don't know what to do with that thing other than to put my stop to here. This should be a PSAR flip and off it goes, but man, I don't know, but I'm just going to hold it. Tesla, I missed that turn. That's a lot of people buying Elon, so people got it at 380 and are holding, 500 better than me. Well done, but I'm not a believer yet. Who's going to buy an $80,000 car? If you own a Tesla, you own one. You're not going to buy a new one now. UDOW, we're trading intraday. Oil had a nice turn, and I talked about that being the this yellow box being that congestion zone, and it voted out of there. So I have to take that one with a stop down here at the blue line. So energy sector actually did pretty well. This is, we talked yesterday about volatility, and it got smashed through the that PSAR. Yeah. Trying to remember what I was messing around with the PSAR. I got red dots in there. I'm trying to remember what that was from. Was that on a weekly? Oh, that's a moving average. Man, I don't know. I'm not sure what that PSAR means yet. I was trying some ideas with the MACD. I was actually trying to get a PSAR posted down here in the indicator, but it's not showing down there, so I got to get rid of that thing. Yeah. So VIX, Walmart didn't have the same follow through, and I don't know what's going on with that. I would think they're doing okay, so I'm gonna, and it didn't break out significantly from that box, so I'm gonna still play that one tomorrow and buy it if it gets. I think it's gonna go tomorrow. Wheaton, I missed that turn completely from that harsh sell-off. That's from 17, and now it's at 27. I mean, that's damn. How much is that? That's about like a 60% gain that I missed. I still can't figure out why gold and silver are acting like that. I'll trade it intraday, but not otherwise. I don't understand it on the swing. I missed we had set this one up for win. And it looks to me like they got, there's hope that they're going to get bailed out. I just don't believe in that one strongly enough, and I didn't want to chase it. And I want to start that intraday and then save a piece for a swing using the hybrid frog principles. But there was not enough action in it today to justify keeping the swing direction. That was the fact that it didn't close well does not bode well. And in fact, if anything, I really should be looking at that as a short. Let's just try that one short, like this. And I really expect the short to work. But if it goes long as an orderly motion, then I'll buy it. But I couldn't pull the trigger today. It just didn't pass the spider sense, the smell test. U.S. Steel, on the other hand, hooray. Love these guys. So this was our entry down here at $4.99, and took the second entry today at $6 or at $5.95, and I think it's going back to the fair value. So U.S. Steel, love it. Materials, I took the entry here at the open, and it did well. I will add a second position if it breaks above today, and I'll move my stop to there. Energy, covered the short today, did not get long. I'm already long oil, but so we'll play that one. Finance, covered the short today, did not get long. Technology, got long today at the open, so I've added that one back in to try to start getting the benefits of leadership. Glad to see XLV. I just don't feel like I can trade them psychologically, so because I'm not prepared to go short them. I just have to stand aside and pray for them. So well done, guys. So that's everything I wanted to cover on the speed run. I want to get this published and posted, and I'll follow up with a quick talk through on the daily report. But it's no different than all the other ones. I mean, this is a markets move. It's hybrid frog. Stay with your usual suspects and trade those continuation patterns, and stay close to your vest. Respect your stops, and have the courage of your convictions. Okay, but trust your stops. Trust the trade architecture. Any questions of me before I get moving? Oh, let me just say while we're here, if you don't mind listening, I wanted to talk through the. I made a decision on that talent LMS thing today. So let me talk through that real quick. Let's see. Patreon.com. Yeah, it's slow to load. I tell you, let me. I will add a discussion about that, and read those words to you. But bottom line is, there's a lot of people that could benefit from a formal educational style approach to the thousands of hours and lessons that we've accumulated over the past 10 to 20 years. A lot of that stuff I don't put into the Essentials course. I think of the Essentials course as those elements that are in boot camp, the boot camp videos, and the advanced home study courses that are already on Basecamp and that every gold and silver member has access to. I'm not going to change those courses or their location or access to them. So if you're a silver or gold Patreon member, you're going to have access to those courses, and I'm going to keep them current. But other folks that maybe not ready for the Patreon piece, or they're not ready for live trading yet, and they're overwhelmed by the daily tactics and whatever, and just want to study the educational material, I'm going to make that available as a separate learning environment, and that's going to be where I put all of the systems, all of the insights, the thousands of case studies, using very nice learning management system software. My co-teacher, my understudy, is building out courseware as fast as he can do it. That's the way he's learning it too, and I'm helping him do that while we're both teaching from home these next 6 weeks. So between now and 1 May, if you want that learning management system library card, you can get it for $2,000. It's going to be much more than the basics that are in Basecamp. So all the things that I don't have time to cover in workshops, but which I think can give valuable insight. That's going to go in there. On 1 June, that'll go up to $4,000. The discount program will apply. So if you're a discount program owner and you want to get half price off those, you can do that. The discount program's going up on 1 April. It's either going to go to 10,000 or I'm just going to discontinue it. I feel like I've made that available long enough that if people wanted it, they have access to it, and that will simplify my administration quite a bit. So you still have time between now and then. If you're interested in the discount program, it's half off everything I will ever produce. So as I continue to add courses to the to that learning management system or the library or other systems or other workshops or whatever I'm doing, that discount will never wear out. It's always 50%. So I think it's a pretty good deal. And like I said, on 1 April, it's either going up to 10 or I'm going to discontinue it. I haven't decided yet. But there's still a chance to get a hold of that. And so if you're already trading using the systems and this little daily pulse of setups and discussions and Patreon messaging and the daily reports, or maybe you're using TC2000 bundle and you're satisfied with that, you don't need the learning management system unless you just want it. And if you're a new person and you want to get right to the trading with just some of the essences, I would just steer you, go right to the gold program, get the materials that are already on Basecamp. You don't need the learning management system yet. Get your arms around the basics. Follow the pathway like Joe Greco and Luke are doing, and trade the chain trading on a handful of symbols and get that going. The learning management system is for folks that want to add kind of like graduate school level insights, and there's going to be a lot of things that I just don't have time to cover in the larger workshops. So I'll produce syllabuses for all of those, but like I have published a number of quizzes over the last year. I probably got 1,000 quizzes, almost like this one I showed you tonight with these steps, where I talk about there's 21 lessons to learn specifically on that particular case study. So I'm going to put together a quiz course which has 100 of those things, and go through them one at a time and build a rubric and an answer sheet for each and every one of them to make sure that I've locked in all of the insights for each and every one of those things, because I think it's kind of like timeless for our technique. And I got to get that stuff documented for the record and get that onto a standalone learning management system, so that it's not my energy that teaches it, and my attention. I'm 62 years old, and we are living in interesting times. So I just feel compelled. There's nothing else going on other than I just feel a sense of urgency to get this locked into a standalone learning management system, with a caretaker who can give oversight to this. I just feel like I need to get this done. So that's the nature of it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, the details are on the Patreon posting, and if you got any questions about what to do or how it applies to you, or if you're already a subscriber, just send me an email. I'll try to explain it better. But that's where we're heading. But I'm going with the Talon LMS solution that allows 500 registered users, so I'll get that going tomorrow. And we're going to have the Forex course in there. The bootcamp course is in there already. The 37 strategies will be in there. How to read the daily and the weekend report. How to do the multi-time frame, multi-lens analysis in thorough detail will all be in there. All of those little pieces that are just kind of floating around separately out there and are not that well organized, those will all be there in very tightly structured courses. So that's appreciate you letting me talk a little bit about that. So there we are. If no questions, that's all I got for tonight. More to follow. Daily report will be out shortly. Take good care, guys. Keep the faith. Keep your wrists measured and your powder dry.